I'll introduce myself as Colin Darby. I'm here from Volt Motorcycles. I'm CEO of a small but very dedicated team of people who are producing electric motorbikes and scooters here in Ireland. So I'll tell you just a little bit about ourselves first of all before I go on about my topic for today. So what do we do? So we produce a range of electric two-wheel vehicles, from our City 60 bike, which is a retro style model, to a more traditional motorcycle, the Volt 70, which you see there in the top right. The Volt 80 is quite a crazy looking, I suppose, dynamic looking bike, and then we have a maxi scooter as well. And who said electric can't be cool? So we decided to create this large Volt 220 electric motorbike as well. So we actually have 5 models at the moment, and we are producing another 2, so we will have in total 7 models of electric two-wheel vehicles. So it's an exciting area to be in. We're the only electric manufacturer here in Ireland, and as I said, it's very interesting seeing how designs are changing and evolving, and the technology is evolving in this space. So my talk today was on electric vehicles and our world's only choice, and I'll explain a little bit about the reasons why I think this is going to be the situation. And there's a lot of talk about people who are saying positive and negatives about electric, and a lot of people talk about it being, yes, it's the future. Well, that future is very much here and now. Well, why is it our only choice? Well, I want to talk a little bit about going back about 100 or so years ago. People have this idea that electric vehicles are actually new. They're not in any shape or form. In fact, electric cars were actually there before the internal combustion engine. Now, I won't go through all the dates here and bore you to tears. I'm sure you can read some of them, and they can be debated because depending on where you Google search your information, they vary from year to year. But generally, an interesting one here is one which I have written down here. At the turn of the last century, there's a statistic that said about 40% of American automobiles were steam-powered. 38% were electric, and only 22% were gasoline. So that's quite a high percentage. And back in those days, the actual issue they had with electric vehicles, it was fantastic because they were very quick to start, they were clean, there was no noise, no pollution. But the one problem they had then, of course, was the distance that they couldn't travel. So the internal combustion engine came up with that basically problem solved, because they could go from much longer distances and also do power to weight ratios. But in a funny scenario how life has changed, we're all now coming back full circle, because we've all realized, hang about, electric vehicles do make a lot of sense, and there's a lot of reasons why we should do this. Our biggest problem that we face in this planet at the moment is air pollution, and it's the single reason why we should be starting to change all of our vehicles to electric. The last point which I put down here is a point of debate. I'm not going to debate it today because, again, there are various different reports who will say that we have X number of reserves of oil and coal, and that can be bandied around all day, and forevermore we'll continue to do that. But it's actually not the main point. Our biggest problem is air pollution. The World Health Organization have attributed 400,000 premature deaths each year in Europe to air pollution. Many years ago, our government here, quite rightly so, brought in a ban on smoking, because they realized, hang about, everybody should have the right to work in an environment which is pollution-free, which is smoke-free. So wouldn't it also be nice to be able to work inside or outside in an atmospheric pollution-free zone? And 1,200 deaths per year in Ireland could be attributed to pollution that we're causing. It's a very simple thing. All you have to do is walk around the streets of Dublin or otherwise and look at the grime and look at the dirt and all the millions of euros that are spent every year all over the world, where companies are cleaning buildings because they're cleaning the pollution that's being caused by the traffic in our cities. So we have a couple of the cities which I've mentioned there in the middle, which have basically said to themselves that they're actually going to ban the vehicles which are the most pollution, I suppose, which are the ones with the diesel engines. And this will be a very important factor for Ireland, considering actually in Ireland we have the highest percentage of diesel engines in the whole of Europe. So it's one, this is coming out, and there's another group of countries worldwide that by 2050 have stated that they basically will ban all internal combustion engine vehicles, all right across the board. There will only be electric vehicles. So what do we need to do? We need to rethink a little bit about what we're actually doing to this planet, what we're driving, how we're getting to work, how we're transporting all of our products around the place, and how we produce this electricity as well. There are various different ways in which to produce electricity. There is no single reason why every building, every industrial building, cannot have solar panels right across, photovoltaic panels on the roof. It makes complete sense for anybody, especially in industry, where you've got natural light that's out there. Why wouldn't you harness it and use it to power your building? Wind turbines don't have to look ugly. There's a gentleman from France who designed this very clever design, and it's actually like a piece of modern art, where all of these individual leaves are like mini wind turbines, and they can produce electricity in the middle of a city. This company, I think, actually is based in Canada, but they produce turbines for rivers. And within one turbine, you can actually produce enough electricity every single day to produce your electricity to have yourself self-sufficient in your own home. In relation to transporting, of course, we all know we can reinvent ourselves a little bit as we gain a lot more technology down through the years. We've seen how we can design and redesign battery technology from the old lead-acid batteries to the new flat panel technologies. In relation to cars, we can see how we have to think a little bit differently, because modern day cars, which are now going to be electric, have to be built and designed differently. We cannot take a current car, as some manufacturers have, rip out a few parts and throw in a few electric batteries and call it electric. We have to rethink it. Trains. Electric trains are gaining a lot of speed, if you pardon the pun, over the last couple of years, because airline companies are now looking into this as a real alternative of getting people from A to B locations, because they can get people from A to B in a similar time frame as boarding on a long haul flight at a fraction of the cost, about 10% of the cost of what it would cost for airline and airline fuels. But they can now get people on high-speed electric trains at a fraction of the cost. Electric buses are a very real thing. This is an example actually of a bus in Winnipeg Airport in Canada. And this electric bus comes up to a contact point, as you can see there. It charges itself in 10 minutes and then does a 2-hour journey from the airport downtown and circle right back within about 2 hours. And it is completely 100% renewable energy made to produce and run that bus. And that can be done. That's been done in various parts all over the world. Electric buses are already there. There's actually no reason why you cannot put electric buses in place all around the world today. There is also a couple of companies who you may know called Boeing and NASA, who are doing a lot of research into electric air propulsion as well, and transporting people around using electric technology. The movement and the way in which we move is going to be changing quite a lot. And I know you probably are very familiar with the likes of electrical charging points. Well, this is going to change dramatically over the next while. This is in some ways a kind of a first generation idea, because they have these plug-in devices which are 3-pin, 4-pin, 5-pin, AC, DC, all various different connections. It's a nice idea, but you'll find these will die out quite considerably over the next couple of years. Currently, 90% of people who use their electric vehicles don't use these. They charge at home and they charge in the workplace. So the likes of these things will probably diminish quite a lot, because the mentality really isn't much different than where's the nearest petrol stations, where's the nearest charging point. It's an antiquated system in some ways, but it will perform a function. You will find probably in the future that the likes of your motorway cafes will be more of a refueling stop for the body and the mind for sleep, more so than actually for refueling your car. However, you will have charging points, but these charging points will be contactless. You can imagine if you're doing your shopping and you've got kids coming out of you as well, on a rainy day, especially like today, you just want to drive, park, get off, do your work, and come back to your car, and it will be charging while you're waiting. Most of the electric cars, well, at this stage, haven't quite progressed to the likes of what Tesla have, as you can imagine, have proven they can go long distances in traveling. So 400, 500, 600 kilometers is not unusual for them to be able to move your cars around. And then people ask, well then how about getting from long distances internationally? I want to drive from France to Germany. Well, of course, apart from maybe charging your vehicle when you stop somewhere for a break, for a cup of coffee or something like that. The other thing is you will find the likes of charging lanes when you're driving on motorways. And again, this will be a non-contactless scenario whereby the car literally will drive over an actual laneway and will actually charge as you're driving down. And this also will be affecting the likes of transportation for large vehicles such as trucks as well. I always put this one in here as well to make people think a little bit about the light electrical vehicles in the area space that we're in, such as motorbikes and scooters, because a lot of people don't realize that the infrastructure is already there. And I have this conversation sometimes with governments when they talk about, well, infrastructure, no, infrastructure is a very high cost. Rubbish. It already exists there. Streetlights have electricity running through them all the time, and they're everywhere. In fact, street lamps also have a little panel on the side of them. So let's change that and put a charging station there, and then we can charge our electric bikes and scooters everywhere. And actually, there's been pilot studies done on this in Germany already, and very successful. So you will find a shift towards this in the future. So it's a little different way of thinking about how we're charging our vehicles as we're moving around. This is very much the way the trend is going in the next couple of years. One of the things I'm going to leave you on was a little thought, and it goes back to my original discussion in relation to air pollution. There was I read somewhere a little while ago about a discussion with a group of Chinese children, and they asked them what would they like to see. One of the things they've always wanted to see, and one little girl put up her hand at the time, and the one thing that she had never seen and wanted to see in her life, one thing she was asked what she would want to see was a blue sky. And it makes you think a little bit that a little girl, that the one thing in her life that she always wanted to see was a blue sky. So perhaps maybe it would be nice to make sure that we at least give something back to the planet, that we don't make clean air a luxury but a necessity. So I'll leave you with this last slide. Hopefully if you're thinking about buying an electric vehicle, you might buy it from this intelligent man on the right hand side if it's a car, and a motorbike if it's this gentleman here on the left hand side. Thank you very much.